When I was actually looking at a map last night, not to get too off topic, but like, no wonder Iran's so they're so how they are. Dude, every surrounding place pretty much we've like made into a failed state with like coups and fucking, and it's just no fucking. And then it's no wonder Russia wants to be involved because they're right there too.
Yeah,
and
they're just right across the Black Sea there.
Like, it's common sense, and there's people who like act like there's no reason Iran hates us. Like, they literally believe they hate us for our fucking freedom. Like, the propaganda
because
bullshit.
They're a Shia state, and that's a good thing to get back on subject here a little bit, because. Yeah, Johnny, you and I have talked about people we know just outright being nationalist, and we've seen that change in discourse here. And they have this attitude that Iran hates us and they're the enemy because they hate our freedoms and because they're this religious theocracy. And Iran it's a bad government. It's an authoritarian state. I'm not in support of Iran, and neither the Iranian people who live there, neither are they. I saw several videos about people talking about how happy they were that Suleiman was dead. Because he was an oppressor.
There's a lot who were sad about it too, though.
It's just like with any.
Like, he had 50-something% approval rating in Iran, which is like no politician here really gets that.
Yeah. Where was I going with that? Yeah. So there's a reason why Iran hates us.
Yeah.
And it's because we have been meddling in their affairs, and obviously in the affairs of the Middle East as a whole since before World War I, Western civilization has been involved. But America really started to get involved in World War II because parts of those areas were owned by the British, and we wanted to hold up the British Empire at any costs. But then especially after World War II, like I said, we inherited this responsibility of empire. Oh shit, they're coming. They finally
helicopters here.
Oh shit, and then it actually is for us. God damn. Sorry about the sirens there, guys. I don't even know if you can pick those up or not, but our house is about to be kicked in by the fucking United States government. But yeah, after World War II, we inherited this essentially responsibility of empire, if you want to call it responsibility of empire. More like privilege. But at that time, shortly after World War II, and I'm not a history professor, so some of this is going to be off, but after World War II, we tried to support democratic elections. So we did it to some degree. Like, it wasn't all just us being corrupt and rubbing our hands and being like, the oil and the money.
Yeah.
There was some things that came positive out of American, interventionism, right? But what happened is the Iranian people, the Persian people, elected a man that was, for I guess lack of a better word, you'd call him a socialist, in that he wanted to nationalize the oil production of Iran and use the revenue. He's going to sell it to America. He's going to sell it to whoever wanted it, for whatever price the market demands. And he was going to use the money for Iran, infrastructure, the arts, education, to help the Iranian people. We were like, no. You can have democratic elections and self-sovereignty, but only if it's, going to help us, man.
Yeah, exactly.
So what we did is organized a coup that eventually put, I can't remember the guy's name, but he's known as the Shah. And this man was extremely authoritarian.
Kind of like their royal family, too, isn't he?
Yeah, I mean, you can think of it like a sheik.
Like, wasn't he in power before this guy, too, or some shit?
I can't recall exactly. You guys can look in on some of this yourself.
I was just listening to something, and it was saying how he was put back into power.
Yeah, it probably was. He was probably already in power, serving essentially the British government.
Yeah. And
funneling oil through the Suez Canal, through the Mediterranean for British use, right? But so this guy gets put into power, gets put back into power. He's extremely authoritarian, extremely corrupt. He lives in a palace while Iranian people are starving. They're still reeling from World War II. It's a real fucking shit show.
Yeah, I saw a video when I was just listening. Like, he was like in this fancy ass, like at a fancy ass
badass dinner. Yeah, dude, he is a baller, like straight up. I mean, so he's living in this opulence while people are starving. It's a fucking shit show. The government's corrupt. Yada yada yada. And the Iranian people did not like that. And so you started to have these segments within their civilization kind of ramp up for some sort of revolution, be it peaceful or otherwise. And there was many different factions. We know Iran as a theocratic Shiite state, essentially caliphate, much like ISIS is, but more legitimate because they have political stability. But there were other groups. There were communists, there were socialists, there were liberal Republicans, there were there's all kinds of things. And one of the reasons why the theocracy and the radical Islamists took power is, one, the United States government did anything they could to stifle socialists and communists. Not saying communists would be good, but they were like, fuck no, that's the last thing we want. That's what we just got rid of. So they purposely did what they could to sabotage that. At the same time, you started to see these Islamic radicals these separatist groups, these revolutionary groups gain power. And I was listening to Kyle Kalinske on his Secular Talk channel. I didn't realize this, but one of the reasons why the Islamic revolutionaries were so successful is because this Shah was spying on everybody. He had an authoritarian secret police state, right? He was spying on everybody, but do you know the one place that he was not spying? The mosques.
Really?
Because he was a Muslim himself, and that was...
Yeah. It went against even his shit.
Yeah, so he wasn't spying in the mosques. The Islamic Church, or whatever you want to call it,
fun fact as well. A college professor predicted it was going to be the more radical Muslims that took over in the revolution. Because when he asked all the
during this time period,
when he asked all the Iranian college kids, that's what they said was going to happen, and not like they were for it necessarily, but they just saw. And college kids are a lot more in tune than people want to give them credit for. Like, they know the political winds of countries.
Isn't that the funny thing about our own shit now? It's
I know.
It's always let's be honest. When change happens, it's always it's always the young, well-educated people, and it's always the fucking bourgeoisie, the middle class that's older that tries to stifle it.
And I think any smart, college-educated person our age sees that if we don't do a Bernie Sanders style on our side, we are going to lose to the theocratic right wing of the country.
Yeah, and that's
certain people want to act like that's not even possible, but if you're smart, you see how that's going to happen.
That's interesting, and we'll fucking segue into that in a second, but I want to kind of finish what I'm saying with... then the Islamists, they were able to get together in these mosques and stash weapons and all kinds of shit there. And then bada bing, bada boom, shit hit the fan, and you ended up with the Ayatollah. And it's like...
If the stars will line up, I'm taking the divine to spend a little time at mine.